Okay, just to give you a quick background, so I run Dramas and Dreams, which is basically a reviewing or critiquing site. We only write about TV shows, good TV shows. Sometimes we write about bad TV shows because we don't have good TV shows. But yeah, but from time to time we do profile some actors or some performers because the readers are always interested in what's going on really in the mind of of an actor. So basically, I really thought I was really keen on talking to you because you have 3 shows back to back in completely different genres in this year, and it's doing very well. So I thought, why to start that there? So tell me that ये जो 3 different genres है, बिल्कुल like you have one which is like a noir drama, one which is a romantic comedy, and one which is a thriller based in the mythology of mythology kind of thing. So was there a particular thought behind choosing such wide spectrum of scripts, or it just happened?
There was manifestation, I think, but not very serious. I'm not a believer of that other kind of thing. But I am a believer of you eventually become what you really, really want to be in life. So with these shows, it was coincidental. But there was particular idea that was born from the choices that I'd already made. That was that this is going to be a terrific year for me to display my range with respect to the work that I was doing. That was the only one thing that was at the back of my mind.
When you were talking about the range of work that you want to display, what I have seen, like I've not seen a lot of your projects, but I was just doing some research and I've seen that in the past, it's not like you've done less work. You've done quite some work, but it has not really come out as popular as these 3 shows right now back to back, right? You have some projects which are very well acclaimed, but in smaller circles, not so well known. So do you think it's just the timing or something in your process had changed to,
No. Nothing in my process has changed. It's just people, all the stuff that you might have seen, that's all niche stuff. Everyone who spoke about it spoke great things about it, but the medium was not available. People maybe didn't consider me popular. I don't know, saleable. I don't know. So the only thing that's changed right now, the mediums, I think. These are very popular mediums: Geo Cinema, Netflix, Amazon, News, for that matter. So the process hasn't changed. The selection of scripts is based only on the merit of the script. Now, thankfully, I'm getting a wider audience because I have a wider platform. That's the only thing that's changed. Nothing in me has changed.
And what is the merit of what you make you reject a script and what would make you like a script?
That's a very wide question. But okay, if I read a script, I place myself in there. I see what I can do. If I like what I'm imagining, I do it. If I don't think that me or the script will be relevant or moving enough, I let it go. Usually, I'm able to tell if I'm going to say yes to a project within reading the first 10 pages of the project based on how engaging the writing is, because I've been a big believer of the fact that writing is the most instrumental tool in good content creation. And I've realized, and I've been pretty accurate with it as well. There's not one thing that I've let go that has become monumental. So I just trust my gut.
And that makes me think about it's something. It's not. I'm sure it's not a very common question, but it's come to my mind, so I'll ask you. You've done in past this huge show, right? Esperco. So you were like the face of the TV. The show was, I think, pulled off air when you quit, something like that, right? So when you have that kind of, I don't know, you've tasted that kind of power of being the shoulders that carry the show, and then after that I've seen that you've done quite a few shows which are multi-stars, right? बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं. You sometimes you have a lesser role, sometimes it's not lesser, then you have the other person also get as much limelight as you. So how did you escape that ego trip? How did you escape that thing that मैं तो face था, why should I do more shows like that?
You escape something if you have something that you have to, be, you have to get rid of. I was never an egoistic man, first of all. Second, success didn't matter to me. And I think a testament to the fact is that I did quit whenever I quit, because what mattered to me is real happiness, which lies in my heart when I'm in a happy household or a happy set where I'm working insan, something that I really believe in. I think success is a byproduct, and it's a fact. I'm not saying this is a modest person. It's a fact, and not only me. I think no one should let success affect them. Success more, I think, than failure. You should let a failure shape you, and stay unaffected from success as much as you
From
can.
the glamour. Yeah, but I know what you mean. What I find is interesting is you have been in this industry for such a long time, right? And I'm sure there are people around you that they work in a different way or they function in a different way. How do you keep yourself that way? That no, I'm not affected. It doesn't matter. I'm sure you have these. You'll get suggestions or advice from time to time that Barun, you should do something like this to, Then how do you keep yourself like totally insulated from that kind of?
I've been my own man actually, not now. Starting as soon as I got out of school, I really did what I wanted to do. What happened with me was that there was a couple of times in my career I absolutely broke down what I had and reconstructed it. And the first time that I did it, I had full confidence in myself with respect to making a living at least. So how do I deal with it? I just don't listen to anybody.
And this reconstruction that you're talking about, is it before coming to the showbiz?
There were a few times there.
Would you like to talk about it? Like before, what did you do before acting, and what happened?
I used to work in a call center. That started when I was 17 or something. And then one point in time, I was doing well. I was an operations manager. I had a big span and stuff like that, but I let that go. And then I came here. I executed and constructed a decent amount of decent career out of television. Then I let that go. And then I'm doing fine now. So I've done that a few times. I know that the things that I'm thinking about my own self, I'm not saying I'm shaping my destiny. It's just that you have to read the signs.
Okay, so you have a high risk taking capacity, right?
It's not a risk, to be honest with you. Because I really, really believe in what I plan, and the foresight actually eventually turns into that result. That means it's not a risk. A risk is an adventurous term, so people like to use it for it makes you look so good, but it's not that. It's actually patience. I had the patience, I had the faith, and I got lucky.
So do you believe in destiny and manifestations, or it's all your work?
No. Luck plays a huge part. I was talking to a friend the other day, and that person was telling me about there are not a lot of actors who hold out, just not work up till the time they start getting good work and stuff like that. And how many of them fail, we don't even have an idea about that number. And then we were talking about me. But then I was saying that, yes, I did hold out for a very long time. But then again, you have to get lucky at one point in time, right? Otherwise, you just fade out. No one remembers you. So you have to get luck. Luck plays a huge part, I feel. And then the point is when you get lucky, what you demonstrate when you reach the big stage. That's all. No, there's only one small little job that you have to do, basically.
So I would say that you have a lot of confidence in what you have to offer, right? That plays a role. That okay.
I'm getting there.
Okay, and I remember I was watching some of your interviews, and I think some 5-6 years. I'm sure you don't remember. Someone told you that do you have people who criticize you or criticize your performance? And you said something that caught me like very interesting. You said, I know my performance before anyone criticizes me. I know if I've not done well.
Yeah, that's true. And that happens so often, and I'm smiling to myself. I really love this idea of not having a single false note, being fully dedicated to what you're doing, and just only think about work when you're at work. At least for the first 50% of the days, then you kind of become that character, so you can flap around a bit, So when there is a false note, sometimes what happens is that a wrong take is used. Like the best of my performance will not be used because I was not going with the edit or the flow of the story or whatever. So when I see it, I know it, and that happens that people call out, was that kind of thing, and that was not good. Yeah, that's true.
So that happens. So ever something like you're not satisfied with, and it goes out to the public, and it has happened to you that you get an opposite response, like people really like something that you were not satisfied with when you did.
Yeah, no, I see you. Like I saw Kohra. I'm not being modest. I'm just like, I saw it. It was good. It was a good performance.
Yeah.
It was a great show and everything. But then again, the thing is that when you see it, you always feel that this could have been better. But that's not being fair. That's unfair on the actor that was actually performing it at that time, because I'm now saying this on the hindsight after watching it, looking the whole edit. You do give your best, but the thing is that if you keep criticizing yourself, it only makes you grow, is what I feel. You only keep thinking that I have to do better. That's not a bad thing in our profession.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so you still feel that before anyone gives you a new criticism, you already know what your
Yeah. Because I'll tell you what, either it's invalid or I already know it's somewhere. Hardly in my life has it happened with me that someone says something that changes my world. I'm like, what? What a new perspective. That doesn't happen.
Okay. This character of you in Asur, very righteous man, and he's like, is sab puri dunya tasmas ho rahi hai, and they are changing their way of, but he's like, no, jo sahi hai, wo sahi hai. So, does that come from you somewhere, or you have this, because you just told me ki you've been in this industry for long, but you know from inside that means kya ignore karna hai, meko yahi karna hai, and I know this is how it is. So I see a parallel there, is it?
I don't know. I mean, different things are different. Like, I am very close to my own understanding. So there are things that I will be immoral about. Things come to, I'm not going to be Nikhil Nair in case something going wrong with my daughter. Everyone's in for a ride in that case, whoever was involved. So I don't know if I'm morally as upright as Nikhil. I won't even call Nikhil morally so upright. It was,
Yeah, I know what you're talking.
I'm a worldly man, basically. I know what I have to care about, and I know what I have to, which one to hit and which one to let go.
Okay, and you did talk about success not affecting you. That's okay. That's fine. But what is your personal definition of success? When would you think you're successful?
Success can only be pursued. I don't think you can put a finger on it. Yeah, like there's no peak or top of success. There's always going to be more successful people than you, so you will only be pursuing success. I think we should rather pursue happiness. Be an extraordinary worker. Work really hard. Whatever amount of success and money and fame has to follow will follow. So you will get what you deserve, basically. Everybody, I think.
Okay, so
body batein hui.
So success and happiness is two different things for you.
That's for everybody. Temporarily, maybe people will be happy with success, because it depends on how much you've pursued it, how much you worked hard for it, what all you let go, what were your dreams, what you coded your mind as in order to feel after you become successful. So yes, it might result in temporary happiness, but success can't be the sole reason for happiness. It has to be a full life, right? It has to be people that you love, people that love you, morals, virtues, if they matter to you, good health, and a lot of other things. Success can be one of them. I mean, I'm not saying everyone has to follow my modus operandi or something like that. I'm just saying there is a lot. I'm like people really get carried away with success. So I've seen that happening with majority human beings. You just get successful and you really get carried away in different fashions. Because everyone is different. But I think happiness is more important.
Also, in the same interview that I was talking about, someone asked you what's the project that's closest to your heart, and you said it's not happened yet. I am proud of a lot of projects, but it's not yet happened that it's close. So now, has it changed? Do you have a project that's really close to your heart?
I think that answer is always going to remain the same. Because I'm really proud of the work that I've done. People that I've been associated with professionally, but and I also love a lot of my work. But the things become so close to your heart sometimes. Because you spend your life on that thing, whatever that time you're working. And I on Quora, I saw my family once, twice during the 2.5-3 month schedule. So you give it your all, So same thing. I think there's a lot of them that are close to my heart, but
and if you had to pick one, then
I will not.
Okay. Okay. I have one last question before I will let Sri ask her questions to you.
Sure. Yeah.
And it is it's funny, but I was a Leonardo DiCaprio fan, and I always saw him disassociating himself with Titanic everywhere. People ask him Titanic questions, like he would like, no.
I know where your question is going. Yeah.
Yes. Like you're right, you disassociate, or you want people's memory to disassociate themselves with Arnav.
I've never spoken about anything like that. The thing is, people have their own perception and imagery. Image creation, I can't help at all because people have their own head, their own perception, and they try to create an image. My image was made to be like, oh, he quit television and he did this. So that what that leads to is people start thinking he doesn't want to be associated with television.
Right.
Someone asked me the other day, what is the character that you are closest to, as in real life is what I mean, not how much you love. I did say Arnav. I was very close to that guy at that time, So I speak about it, but लोगों को joke सूटना है, वो अपना ही सोचते हैं. But that's not. I'm not trying to pull a DiCaprio.
But when you look back, do you see it as a creatively satisfying role? Are you proud of it?
I mean, a few people asked me this, and I was like, yeah, that was the show that put me on the map here. But by that time, I'd got a little bit sure of portrayal. But then again, I had no full idea about filmmaking, editing, which helps me a lot now. And I got to learn all of that from that show because everyone on the show obviously was my good friend. We would continue to be good friends. The producer, the directors, all of them actors. So I learned a lot on that show, a lot.
Okay. So, Srijita, who works with me, and she's here. She's also, a huge IPK PhD student. So yeah, I'll let her know, ask her questions. Yeah.
I mean, less of a PhD student. I mean, to just share a bit of my thing. So I studied film and television, and one of my motivations for studying that at Boston was because I fell in love with IPK, but not because of the romance and everything. Because when it got released, I was 14, and I'm like, "ये क्या एक दूसरे के आँखों में घूरे जा रहे हैं, क्या चल रहा है?" But what did catch my eye was the writing and cinematography, which was like it was visibly very different from all of the comparative shows, and I was like, dude, this is amazing. And then after IPK, every other show seemed to be like a knockoff version of that love story, and I was like, I found it very interesting that somewhere down the line, even though it's shorter compared to the usual time frame of Indian tele shows, it did have a huge cultural impact. So
yeah, that's it did have a huge cultural impact. People fell in love a lot more. We were just missing the background score. But Gul's writing is very at that time it was very progressive with respect to the way the shows were made. It still is. So I think it was the writing. The writing of the show was very progressive. The cinematography, Rishida was the DOP on the show, and it was he put in a visible effort to make it look jarringly beautiful, and there was so much that went into lighting. I remember, all the boys used to work really, really hard. There was way too much moving around. There was way too much experimentation, and he was very involved with the show from the absolute inception of it. I think our DOP of the show was the one who tested me for the show.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, along with the director, but the real DOP was the guy on camera.
Oh, that's nice. So I have a couple of questions for you. एक दो थोड़ी भारी भरक्कम types है. So the first thing is that abhi right, in the American film and TV industry, there's a strike going on where actors and writers they are unionizing against the executive studios for pay parity and everything. So as an actor who's been very vocal about writing and the value that it adds to any project, what's your opinion on it, and do you see something similar ever happening in the Indian TV and film industry?
Okay. I don't know. I don't see that happening. People in the West are very different from the people that are in India. We Indians are innately taught to struggle, instead of asking for a right. We are not in the position. I don't know how many years it's going to take. Westerners are very how do I say this? Entitled, And I know I can't make a comment on it. If it's fair or unfair, it's their world. That's not our world. I really don't see that happening. Industry, the struggle is for the bread to start with. It's very, very different from there. But given that, I will say that the times will change. with respect to writing, writers get their due a lot more now than they used to, especially in the center of the OTT revolution where I'm standing right now. Writers are getting a lot of due now, and get paid well, much better than they used to. So it's a better it's not the best places in the world, but it's a better place than before.
Yeah. Oh, at the risk of sounding repetitive, congratulations again for Cora, for Asur
Thank you
too.
very much.
And also a very long due congratulations for Tu Hai Mera Sunday and Halahal. Those have been some of
Thank you.
amazing projects out there.
Yeah.
I do feel they were
Right.
released at the wrong time. If they were released right now, it would be like,
I don't know. Yeah, it's about finding the right audience and the platform. Yes, you might be right. It was both of the films that I think were a little ahead of their time. But again, we had a few people who were kind enough to say good things about it.
yeah. So like this industry, in like a couple of your interviews, you've spoken about like, how with every role you've got to like learn something new and like, reset your mindset and everything. So like what's that one basic piece of advice that you all like, probably the best advice you've ever received, or the one philosophy you stick with in your craft and in this industry?
In the craft, the only philosophy is when you because acting is a very different job profile compared to anybody else. I think when you're working some other industry, let's say pick up accounts or sales or whatever, you're working when you're in the office. If you want to be an actor, 24/7 you have to be developing your craft. You just have to you observe from real life the whole time, because when you're on the set is not the only time you're working. Otherwise, you're going to fall short, because there are such phenomenal actors in our industry now. So that's the only one basic piece of advice. Just keep at it, and if you like it, you will keep doing it. That means it's meant for you. If it annoys you, then get the hell out. Do something else, something that interests you more.
So I run a podcast about Is Pyar Ko, where I break it down, like all the critical elements, talk about its writing, its production, its acting value, and like, here's the storytelling and setting up arcs and stuff. So
Right.
One of the questions that we fans often have in our mind after critically discussing IPK, because it's not just a good popular show, it's also probably one of the best in its own genre at that
Yeah.
time. One would expect that after an IPK, you would be like flooded with some genuinely big offers and big roles and like prominent roles. Yet from more than enough testimonies, it's evident that there's a discrimination in how television actors are perceived compared to film actors. So do you think
Right.
OTT now serves as a bridge between the two industries, or you
No.
think it's becoming another divisive medium?
Yes, OTT is another island on its own. It's not bridging anything. It's a very difficult place. The OTT right now, it's a very very difficult competitive place, because there's a downpour of talent from all the directions suddenly the long format has brought in some phenomenal writers. The acting styles have changed for the good, all of them. So I don't think there's any kind of bridging happening. It is gonna if you wanna if you start out in television, the problem is that people look down upon television. I don't know why. They will just disassociate, reject, the conversation. When I don't think the conversation will go on into let's look at what kind of an actor this is. That does not happen. Let's test him. That does not happen. That's not going to happen, or her, for that matter. So yeah, to answer your question, I don't think so.
So even OTT has that bias for television actors, not just film, right?
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the last question I have is probably something I should have started off with. ऐसा कौन सा सवाल है that you never want to hear again in your life? Just सुन के like आपके कान पक चुके, you're like, enough, stop asking me this question. Is there any question that comes across like a billion times to you?
I get a feeling there are many.
Yeah, there are a few actually, but what can you do? Like people ask you, how are you feeling after the success of your shows? I usually want to tell them I'm feeling horrible. What would tell you? Such a bad life I have, and stuff like that. Then people would ask you, how are you feeling after you have a daughter, after you have a son? I mean, what kind of a question is that? And how can I articulate this in a different fashion? I'm just happy as every average human being is. So there are some.
Okay. I'm so glad it did not occur to us to ask this question. Okay. Okay. So I have one tiny last question. Why did you do IPPK3?
Why did I?
Yeah, because this
I
was a role
understand
you
your
already
question.
done.
It was a different character, different backstory. Everything was different, and we would. The story is something. I'll tell you something about television. What happens is that actors are signed on basis of the premise. The episodes are written as we go. A lot of it is influenced from the ratings that come in every week. So it did not turn out to be the show that we had set out to make because the ratings didn't turn in our favor. We thought something else entirely, and I had no qualms coming back doing. Another thing was the show was also called something else originally. Nobody knows this. I know that because I don't care much about social media and stuff like that. But
He knows this. She knows this.
sorry?
Sujita knows. She told me. Sri knows this already. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So people keep thinking this happened, that happened, he came back or whatever. It was meant to be a show that I signed on with Star Plus, and Gul was producing and writing, and she did a few episodes also, I think, in the beginning. And the show was called, I think, something ki Chandni. It was called, and now because the channel sought that the channel, the line of thinking was that if Barun is making a comeback on our channel, let's capitalize on the franchise that he's already been a part of. And that's when the name changed. The name was not, so people keep saying stupid things like Kisanaya, Barun nahi the, and all that. They have no idea what's happening. So I was like, why address all this? Let it be. But now you ask them answering, that was not meant to be a franchise part 3. It was not meant to be Escargot Canandu ever. The idea was not to recreate the same characters. It was a totally different show.
Oh, so that kind of backfired, naming it.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I don't think the television audience is all on social media. A major audience of television is actually people that are not well versed with social media and computers and stuff like that. Otherwise they'd be watching OTT instead. So social media backlash that it got did not have anything to do with the ratings. Now the ratings had to do with we were not able to convert. It was not a great show, and the point is simple as that. ये भी show अच्छा होता आ गया तो 5 दिन के बाद सबके comments बदल जाते.
I agree. I agree. Okay. Okay, Barun, I'll let you go, but I don't, because your outlook is so different from other actors in this industry. I just wanted to touch a little bit on your, early age or family background, because I want to connect a little bit when I write. So, how does it help you, or how is it different?
I had a fabulous time growing up. I love my mom and dad, my sister. I'm actually really close to my immediate family a lot. I love those guys. They gave me a lot of love growing up. I got a lot of love everywhere, to be honest with you. I've been very lucky. I went to school. Had great friends. The place I grew up, I had great friends. I was playing, having fun the whole time. If you're talking about how I formed this outlook, I will not be able to put a finger on it. But I think I'd like to give it to the people that shaped me to be the person that I am. I think I took a little bit of good from everyone. And what are we? We are the reflection of the society that we live in, right? So I think the people that surround me are responsible for making my opinion the way it is today and the outlook.
Oh, so I think you don't crave for validation because you've grown so much,
I got my validation at my home.
Exactly.
My wife loves me. My kids love me. My family really loves me. I reciprocate that love. So I think that's the thing. People get carried away with fame because they find their validation in the characters that they play. So they start becoming that character. I was very happy in my shoes. So I didn't want that validation.
That's fascinating.
It is, yeah. You make me sound very interesting.
And you wait till I write. Wait till I write about you. I love, that's why I love interviews, which go like a little different from the normal, and because there's so much to write, and especially when you're an actor, when you're a performer, you guys have so much to give, more to give than what people see. So yeah. It's a fulfilling conversation, Varun. I thank you so much for your
Same here,
time.
Tulika.
And
Thank you,
I'm going
Srinita.
to
Thank you, Tulika.
yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward. Yeah. See ya.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.